Hey, did you see what's been going on recently? You know, in the world? Maybe glimpses, but no, no, not really. No, I've been protecting my mind and peace and energy. Why? See, it's people like you that exist, which is why things never get done around here. Oh, someone sounds offended. You gonna spit it out or what? What do you want to tell me? Well, since I'm a good Samaritan and obviously care about where I'm living, unlike some people, I'll tell you. Don't piss me off, or I'm gonna tell you get out of my face. Spit it out and say it or stop talking. Well, obviously, we need to gather up to start to focus on everything that the rest of the population is focusing on in regards to making sure that our rights are being honored by something that we were born with. And don't you see all the death and suffering currently going on in a place that we don't even live in? And you don't have anything to say about that either? How could you live with yourself just being able to sleep at night knowing that you're not participating in something that I feel called and drawn to participating in myself? Why are you not making it your mission to do the same thing I'm doing? This is what needs to be focused on, not hiding away like what you're doing right now with whatever you're doing. That shouldn't be priority. Do you know how much death and suffering goes on every day? And how much it gets advertised like an ad campaign? But this is different. Why? Why is this different? Out of all the other things that have been campaigned to emotionally bait us into our nervous systems getting regularly triggered, what makes this different? Well, the rest of the population is now on board. That's what makes this different. So that means we have to now show up because majority of us are now showing up, obviously, and responding accordingly to this. Which is why you need to be on board too. Obviously. Okay, so what you're telling me is that I should follow the crowd that is now standing in their personal purpose of speaking up for what they believe in. And I'm supposed to go along with it because the rest of the population is. Well, yeah, I mean, it's death and suffering that's being talked about that we're putting a stop to through us speaking. That this is a mission. This is a purpose. This is an assignment. That is your assignment. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? That is your assignment. Listen carefully to yourself. How could you say that? Why would you just say it like it's only my thing to worry about? You need to be in the same assignment. I am in the same assignment. But my assignment is different than yours. But it is within the same category. You just don't see it yet. Why are you trying to act all high and mighty like you know more than me or something? This is the current mission we need to be focusing on. Not whatever you think you got going on. I don't see what you're doing that's making a difference. And I still see stuff going on. And that's why I'm trying to encourage you and tell you through my direct, transparent, and invasive way that you need to show up the way we're showing up. Because it's an expectation I'm having of you since I happen to know you. Especially since you're part of the youth, or the youthful population, that has the ability to speak up and do more. Do you understand what I'm saying? There are different assignments for different people. The reason the masses have been triggered into speaking is because they're now stepping into the phase of their own personal purpose for how they are meant to address things they're drawn to addressing. The invasiveness of expectations towards people that are approaching their assignment in their own way that is not going to look like what the assignment you're acting on is unwarranted, by the way. Just because you can't see how others are carrying out their own assignments does not warrant you the right to become invasive towards them just because you're now standing in your purpose for what you're meant to be doing. It is your assignment to be approaching things the way you're approaching them right now. But if you do not see me acting in the same manner or way as you are yourself, it's highly likely I'm carrying out my assignment in a completely different way because that's what I'm being drawn to doing. So before you go and tell me I'm hiding or I don't care about what's going on, pay attention to the slight ignorance in the room around that statement you just stated, because all I can see when somebody talks to me like that is a bully invasively trying to emotionally bait and provoke me from a humanitarian and morality sense to get me to go along with something that I don't resonate with doing specifically, to stand for something that is meant to be done in a different way for me. Everyone has their orders. Instinctively, everyone is acting exactly the way they're drawn to be acting right now, with acting on their personal assignment for how they're going to be showing up for themselves. To impose the way you're showing up in your assignment onto me because I'm showing up differently in my own is invasive and arrogant, and you need to back off. Because I will hurt your feelings, if I haven't already. Focus on your assignment and yourself, and stop worrying about what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, even if you don't. And I don't need to explain what I'm doing, because sometimes I don't even know until I'm supposed to know. You can't make a difference in this world just by sitting where you're at and hiding behind a screen, or not being in the middle of the crowd like I'm going to be in order to make a difference. You can't make a difference doing what you're doing right now. You can't make an impact doing what you're doing right now. You need to be full-fledged physically in it, the way I am, the way everyone else is. You need to be in it exactly the same way I am, so that I know and believe that you are a part of the same mission, even if you claim you're doing it in your own way. Projection and invasiveness still showing up in this conversation. Now I'm going to hurt your feelings. Be ready. Be prepared and be very ready in this moment. You can't hurt my feelings with something I already believe in. You're a bully waving around a wand of righteousness that you think you can whisk towards anybody because of your inflated ego that you have decided to nurture through others coddling and inflating it for you, to where now you have such a big head you think that you can just step into anyone else's world and tell them they're not doing enough. Well, guess what? You're a complete contradiction in this moment for what you're trying to stand for, with invading the space of somebody that's standing in their own mission and right for what they're supposed to be doing. And you need to back off, because it's looking ugly on you. And shave the ego down a notch, because it will be crushed every time you attempt to approach me this way. Focus on yourself and I'll focus on me, or I will continue to hurt your feelings. Your fragile ego cannot be in this conversation. Your expectations are like an elephant in the room, and they need to make an exit because they have no place here. They never did when it comes to conversating with me. I know what I'm supposed to do, and you know what you're supposed to do. So stay in your lane. You're not allowed, and you don't have permission to enter my space like this. And you do not have permission to invade the direction I'm supposed to go in terms of how I'm navigating, how I'm responding to what I'm supposed to be doing in this world. My life is my own, and yours is yours. So go live it exactly how you know you're meant to, and I'm going to do the same. Now get out of my face, because I almost want to call you a punk, but I also know you're just standing up for yourself in some sort of weird way. And I'm trying my best to not insult you any further, even though I feel very insulted by you and disrespected. You're a hypocrite. How dare you sit up here and tell me all of this? You know I'm coming from a good place. You're a hypocrite and a coward. And you're an ignoramus that has no place in this conversation with me any further, and it's time for you to exit out of this conversation and my life and this space. I will not be concerted with myself about what you believe or think of me, because I'm choosing to navigate things my own way. I'm not concerned. Go ahead and think as you will. Go ahead. But I will not be bullied by your invasive acts and attempts to confine me to what you want me to be doing through how your dialogue is being delivered to me.